The night was silent. The wind whispered through the hidden leaf village, carrying the faint scent of rain and smoke. But the peace was only a mask, because that night, the village was under attack. A creature of pure hatred roared under the moon, the nine-tailed fox. Its tail swept through houses, its fury shaking the mountains. Shinobi screamed, fire burned, and chaos filled the air. Amidst the destruction, a man stood tall. The fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. His blonde hair flickered in the firelight, his eyes calm but determined. In his arms was a newborn baby, his son, Naruto. To save the village, Minato made an impossible choice. He sealed the nine-tailed fox inside his own child, sacrificing himself and his wife Kushina. And when the morning sun rose, the village survived, but the baby was left alone. That child, Naruto Uzumaki, became the vessel of the beast that almost destroyed the village. The villagers looked at him with fear. Whispers followed him everywhere. He never understood why. All he wanted was someone to smile at him. Every night, he sat on the swings outside the academy, watching other parents pick up their children. No one came for him. But Naruto never stopped dreaming. He wanted to be the Hokage, the hero everyone would look up to. He wanted to prove that he mattered. And far away, another boy was living a very different life. In the Uchiha compound, proud, respected, and powerful, lived Sasuke. He was the second son of the Uchiha clan leader, Fugaku, and his beloved mother, Mikoto. But the person he admired most was his brother, Itachi. Itachi was everything Sasuke wanted to be. Calm, wise, strong. Whenever Sasuke struggled in training, Itachi was there with a smile. Next time, little brother, he'd say, ruffling Sasuke's hair, and Sasuke would smile back, thinking his world was perfect. But perfection doesn't last forever. One night, the sky turned red with the light of the Sharingan. Screams echoed through the Uchiha district. Sasuke, confused and scared, ran home. He found his parents lying still on the floor, their eyes lifeless. And in front of them stood Itachi. His face was cold. His Mangekyo Sharingan glowed like fire. Sasuke's voice trembled. "Brother? What happened?" Itachi didn't answer. He only whispered, "You are weak. If you want to kill me, then hate me. Run. Live in an unsightly way. And one day, come to me with the same eyes and wit that he vanished into the night." Sasuke fell to his knees, tears mixing with blood. The world he knew was gone. From that night onward, his heart was consumed by a single desire: revenge. Years passed. Naruto grew into a loud, mischievous boy who played pranks just to get noticed. It was lonely, but he hid it behind a big grin. He shouted his dream to anyone who would listen. "One day, I'll be Hokage. Believe it." Sasuke, meanwhile, grew into a quiet genius. Everyone admired him. The girls whispered his name. The teachers praised him. But Sasuke didn't care about any of that. He trained harder than anyone, chasing a ghost he could never catch: his brother. One day, their worlds collided. The Ninja Academy. Two boys sitting in the same classroom, one loud and clumsy, the other cool and distant. Naruto envied Sasuke's confidence. Sasuke looked down on Naruto's foolishness. They were opposites, and yet something invisible connected them. When Iruka-sensei announced the new teams, fate brought them together. Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, and Sakura Haruno. Their leader, Kakashi was a man who had seen too much loss, too much war. He looked at his new students and saw reflections of his past. "Those who break the rules are scum," he said. "But those who abandon their friends are worse than scum." Their first missions were simple: catching cats, finding herbs, helping villagers. Naruto complained. Sasuke stayed quiet, but slowly, little by little, they began to understand each other. Their first real test came on a mission to the Land of Waves. It was supposed to be easy, but soon they faced danger beyond their level: rogue ninja, assassins, and death itself. When Zabuza Momoshi, the demon of the mist, appeared before them. They were terrified. His killing intent froze the air, but Naruto refused to run. He trembled. He cried. Yet he stood beside Sasuke, and Sasuke, for the first time, felt something new. Trust. Together, they fought, and when Aku the masked ninja trapped them in a prison of mirrors, Sasuke threw himself in front of Naruto to save him. Naruto screamed as Sasuke's body fell. In that moment, something deep inside him broke open. The power of the Nine Tails. Red chakra exploded around him. Naruto's eyes turned crimson, and for the first time, he unleashed the beast within. Zabuza and Haku both fell, but not as monsters as humans, each protecting something precious. As the mist cleared, Team 7 learned their first painful lesson, that being a ninja isn't just about fighting, it's about understanding loss. When they returned to the village, something had changed between Naruto and Sasuke. They didn't say it out loud, but they had begun to respect each other. Naruto had shown courage. Sasuke had shown compassion. Their next challenge came with the Chunin exams. The entire village buzzed with excitement. Naruto was nervous, Sakura determined, Sasuke confident, but in the shadows, dark forces were moving. Orochimaru, a former leaf shinobi turned snake-like monster, infiltrated the exams. During the Forest of Death, I attacked Team 7 and marked Sasuke with a cursed seal. It burned into his neck like fire, filling him with pain and power. From that moment, something inside Sasuke began to twist. Power became an obsession. Naruto noticed it. He tried to reach out, but Sasuke pushed him away. Still, during the exams, they fought side by side. Naruto faced Neji, the genius of the Hyuga clan, and shocked everyone by winning through pure willpower. Sasuke faced Gaara, a boy haunted by a monster just like Naruto. Their battle was fierce, and when Gaara lost control, it was Naruto who saved everyone, even Gaara himself. For the first time, Sasuke realized Naruto was catching up to him, and it scared him. One evening, after the exams, Sasuke stood on the hospital rooftop, lightning crackling in his hand, his Chidori ready. Naruto stood opposite, forming his Rasengan. Their eyes met, full of rivalry and emotion, and as they charged, Kakashi appeared, stopping the collision that could have killed them both. But that night, Sasuke made his choice. He couldn't stay in Naruto's light. He couldn't accept being second. He couldn't forget his brother's eyes. So, he left. He left the village, the team, and his bond with Naruto. The Sanfour came to escort him to Orochimaru, to the darkness where he believed true power waited. Naruto, heartbroken, refused to let him go. He promised Sakura he'd bring Sasuke back. Then he ran after him, alone. The chase through the forest was desperate, emotional, and painful. Every memory, every moment they had shared, all flashed through Naruto's mind. And finally, they stood face to face at the Valley of the End. The statues of Hashirama and Madara loomed over them. Two friends turned enemies. History was repeating itself. Sasuke's Sharingan spun. Naruto's eyes burned red with the Nine Tails. Their battle began. Every punch was a memory. Every clash was a cry from the past. Naruto shouted, "I won't let you go, Sasuke!" Sasuke screamed, "You'll never understand my pain." Lightning met wind. Fire met chakra. They fought until their bodies broke and their hearts bled. And when the final clash came, Rasengan against Chidori, the world exploded in light. When it faded, Sasuke stood over Naruto, trembling, exhausted. He could kill him. He had the chance, but he didn't. Because deep inside, that bond they shared, the one he tried to destroy, still held him back. "Eternate Hawaii, I'm going my own way," he said softly. "Don't follow me, Naruto." And he disappeared into the darkness. Naruto lay there, broken, tears mixing with the rain. He had failed to bring his brother back, but his promise remained unbroken. Someday, he would save Sasuke. The sun rose over the Hidden Leaf village, golden light spilling across the rooftops. Birds sang. Children laughed, but for Naruto Uzumaki, there was no joy that morning. He stood on the hospital rooftop, staring at the empty bed where Sasuke once lay. His fists trembled, his chest ached. Sasuke was gone, vanished into the night, leaving behind only memories. Naruto had failed to stop him. The words of Kakashi echoed in his mind. Those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. Naruto clenched his teeth. He wasn't going to give up. Not on Sasuke, not on their bond. When he woke days later, bruised and broken, a man was waiting for him, tall, with long white hair and a warm grin. Jiraiya, the Toad Sage. One of the legendary I heard you want to bring your friend back, Jiraiya said. Naruto nodded. Then you'll need power, Jiraiya continued, and I can teach you that power. Naruto's eyes lit up. Then train me. I'll do whatever it takes. And so began Naruto's next journey, not just of strength, but of understanding. The days with Jiraiya were wild. Training was hard, brutal, and full of mistakes. Naruto would collapse in exhaustion, his clothes torn and hands bleeding. But every time, he'd get up, laughing through the pain. You never quit, do you? Jiraiya would say, smiling proudly. That's my ninja way. Naruto would shout, but Jiraiya wasn't just teaching him jutsu. He was teaching him how to endure, how to believe in himself. Slowly, the loud, foolish boy began to mature. Meanwhile, far away from the village, Sasuke walked a darker path. Through dense forests and hidden valleys, he followed the sound for Orochimaru's elite. Their promise was clear. We'll give you power, enough to kill your brother. The cursed seal on his neck pulsed like fire, feeding on his anger. His Sharingan sharpened, his heart hardened, and when he reached Orochimaru's lair, the serpent himself welcomed him with open arms. Come, Sasuke Orochimaru whispered, I will give you strength. Strength beyond any Uchiha before you. Sasuke bowed his head. I don't care what it takes, he said coldly. I just want power. Orochimaru smiled. The smile of a predator who had found his prey. Jeers paced. Naruto trained tirelessly under Jiraiya, learning to control the Nine Tails, mastering the Rasengan, and facing challenges across nations. He met new friends, new enemies, and learned the pain of loss. But no matter where he went, one name stayed in his heart. After 2.5 years, Naruto returned to the Leaf. He was taller, stronger, and calmer, but the same fire still burned in his eyes. The village welcomed him like a hero. Sakura smiled through tears. Kakashi raised an eyebrow, pretending not to be proud. But the reunion wasn't complete. One seat in Team 7 was still empty. News of Sasuke spread like whispers. He had grown powerful, terrifyingly so. Rumors said he had killed Orochimaru. Others said he was hunting down his brother, Itachi. Naruto listened silently. Every story hurt. Every word reminded him of how far apart they had drifted. But he refused to believe Sasuke was truly lost. Even if I have to break every bone in his body, Naruto said, I'll bring him back. Meanwhile, Sasuke's quest reached its peak. After years of training, he finally found it. Their battle was long and heart-wrenching. A storm of fire, lightning, and blood. Sasuke's hatred burned brighter than ever. He screamed, You killed our family. You've destroyed everything. Itachi's expression remained calm. When the fight ended, Sasuke stood victorious. His brother lay dying before him, reaching out one last time. With a faint smile, Itachi touched Sasuke's forehead, just like he used to when they were children. Then, he died. Sasuke stood there, breathing heavily, tears in his eyes. He had done Italiano. He had killed his brother. He should have felt satisfaction. But instead, he felt empty. And then, the truth came. Through the words of Tobi, the masked man who claimed to be Madara Uchiha Sasuke learned everything. Itachi had never been a traitor. He had killed the Uchiha clan under orders from the Leaf S elders to prevent a coup, to protect the village, and to protect Sasuke. Itachi had carried the burden of a murderer to keep peace. He had suffered in silence, bearing the hate of the world to save his little brother. Sasuke's knees gave out. His tears fell freely now. All this time, his brother was never the enemy. The real enemy was the system, the village that forced Itachi's hand. That day, Sasuke's hatred changed direction. His eyes, now filled with Mangekyo Sharingan, burned with a new purpose. He would destroy the hidden leaf. Back in the village, Naruto felt it, a chill deep in his heart. He didn't know why, but he could sense that something terrible had shifted within Sasuke. When he heard the truth from Tobi later, his heart shattered. He wanted to hate the village for what they did to the Uchiha, but he couldn't. Because he still believed that there was another way to end the cycle of hatred without destroying everything. He swore that when he met Sasuke again, he would save him, no matter what it took. As the world moved toward chaos, dark clouds gathered. Akatsuki, the organization of rogue ninja, began their hunt for the tailed beasts. One by one, they captured the Jinchuriki, including Gaara Naruto's friend and the Kozakich of the Sand. Naruto and his team fought desperately to save him. They succeeded, but only barely. And with every battle, Naruto saw how hatred poisoned everything it touched. Then came the attack on the village, led by Pain, leader of the buildings crumbled. Fire rained from the sky. People screamed. Naruto returned from his training just in time to see his home destroyed, but he didn't panic. He didn't cry. He stood tall for everyone who believed in him. When he faced Pain, the man who preached despair, Naruto answered with hope. You think pain is all there is in this world? Then I'll show you something different. I'll show you what it means to never give up. Their fights shook the heavens. Pain used his almighty power to crush Naruto, but Naruto's will refused to die. He used the Sage Mode he had learned from the Toads, blending nature energy with his own, and defeated Pain with sheer determination. But instead of killing him, Naruto listened to his story, the tragedy that had shaped him, and through that understanding, he broke the cycle of hatred for the first time. He forgave Pain. He saved the village not by destruction, but by compassion. When he returned to the Leaf, the villagers who once looked at him as a monster now looked at him as a hero. Children pointed and cheered. Old men bowed in respect. Naruto smiled through tears. He had finally done it. He was no longer the lonely boy on the swing. But peace never lasts long. In the shadows, Tobi declared war. The fourth great ninja war. And amidst the chaos, Sasuke reappeared. Now carrying the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, he was more powerful than ever. He had learned everything about his brother's sacrifice, and for the first time, he began to question his own path. He sought the truth from the Hokage of the past resurrected souls of the men who built the village. When he listened to Hashirama, the first Hokage, speak of low peace and the curse of hatred, something inside Sasuke began to stir. Maybe I've been wrong, he whispered, but before he could decide, the war reached its peak. Madara Uchiha returned from the dead. The world trembled. All shinobi, even enemies, united to fight him. Naruto and Sasuke stood side by side once more, their power unmatched. It was like destiny itself had forced them together again. They fought as one, fire and wind, lightning and hope, and for the first time since their youth, they moved in perfect sync. It felt like old times, like Team 7 was whole again, but peace was still far away. Even after Madara fell, the true enemy emerged, Kaguya Sutsuki, the mother of chakra itself, a godlike being who wanted to reclaim all life. Naruto and Sasuke fought her together, along with Sakura and Koka. Their teamwork, their courage, and their shared bond saved the world from destruction. But when the dust settled and the war was over, the valley was silent. Only the wind moved, whispering through the ruins, carrying the sound of thunder and crashing water. Naruto and Sasuke stood across from each other, their clothes torn, faces bruised, eyes filled with pain. This was not just a battle. It was years of emotion, friendship, betrayal, and love, all colliding in one final moment. Naruto's Rasengan spun in his hand, glowing like a small sun. Sasuke's Chidori sparked like a storm, blue lightning flashing through the mist. Their eyes locked. Tente run. The world exploded in light. The ground shook. Stones shattered. Trees splintered. Rivers split apart. When the smoke cleared, both of them lay broken. Bodies bleeding, unable, to mob up. But Abe and Ten neither would stop. Naruto's voice was soft. Sasuke, I told you I'll never give up on you. Sasuke stared at the sky. You're such an idiot, he muttered. Why do you care so much? Because you're my friend. Naruto whispered, you're like my brother. Tears burned in Sasuke's eyes, though he didn't want to admit it. He turned his head slightly, looking at Naruto through blurred vision. I used to think bonds made me weak, he said quietly. But maybe they were the only thing keeping me human. The two boys lay side by side, bleeding into the same river, staring up at the same stars, just like when they were kids, dreaming of the future. When the dawn finally came, the battle was over. Neither had won, but both had finally understood each other. Days later, the sun rose over the battlefield. Sasuke woke in a hospital room, his right arm gone, just like Naruto's. But his heart felt lighter. He had lost everything, yet gained something far greater. Naruto was sitting beside him, smiling despite the pain. Took you long enough, he joked. Sasuke looked at him for a long time, then smirked. Yeah, guess I was the one being stubborn. That was their peace. No grand ceremony. No hero's parade, just two friends finally understanding each other after years of chasing, fighting, and crying. When they returned to the village, people cheered for Naruto. He had saved the world. He had ended the war. He had brought back Sasuke, but Naruto didn't care about fame. He only smiled when he saw everyone together, safe, alive, and laughing. For him, that was enough. Sasuke, however, chose a different path. He couldn't stay. I need to see the world for myself, it told Naruto. I need to understand everything. The pain, the hope, the truth. Naruto didn't stop him. He only nodded. Then I'll see you again someday, he said. Yeah. Sasuke replied softly. You will. And with that, Sasuke walked away into the horizon, into the unknown, a wanderer searching for redemption. Years passed. The war became history. Villages rebuilt. Children who once knew only fear now played freely in the streets. Naruto continued his journey, no longer the mischievous boy who painted on the Hokage's faces, but a man who had earned the right to stand among legends. He trained harder than ever, mastering the power of the Nine Tails, learning the secrets of peace, and helping every nation heal. And slowly, the dream that began with a lonely boy started to take shape. The dream of becoming Hokage. But peace was fragile. Even with the Great War over, shadows still lingered. In distant lands, new enemies began to rise. People who saw Naruto's ideals as weakness, who wanted power for themselves. One of them was Tonari Hitsutsuki, a man from the moon, descended from Kaguya's bloodline. He believed humanity had failed, that chakra should be taken away, and to prove it, he would destroy the earth. When Tonari kidnapped Hinata's sister, Naruto didn't hesitate. He led a mission to the moon itself, not just to save her, but to protect the world once more. The battle was fierce. Tonari's power was divine. He wielded the Tensagen, a power that could move the moon itself. But Naruto's heart was stronger. He fought not just with Jutsu, but with love. Love for his friends, his village, and for Hinata, who had always stood by him. When the fight ended, the moon was saved, the earth was safe, and Naruto finally realized the truth about his own heart. He loved Hinata, and always had. Months later, under a sky filled with glowing lanterns, Naruto and Hinata were married. The entire village celebrated. For once, there was no war, no sorrow, only laughter, warmth, and joy. As the night grew quiet, Naruto looked at his friends, Shikamaru, Sakura, Kakashi, and even the spirit of Jiraiya. In his heart, he smiled. This is what I always dreamed of. And somewhere far away, Sasuke stood on a cliff, watching the stars. A small smile crossed his face. He didn't need to be there to know Naruto was happy. That was enough for him. Time passed again. Naruto became a father. Boruto Uzumaki, a boy with the same loud voice and stubborn grin as his dad. Naruto's days were filled with laughter, chaos, and love, but there was still one dream left. One final step in his journey. When the day finally came, the entire village gathered beneath the stone faces of the Hokage. Flags waved, children shouted, and at the center of it all stood Naruto, the boy who was once alone, now surrounded by everyone he had ever saved. Kakashi placed the Hokage's cloak over his shoulders. The crowd cheered as he turned toward them, wind blowing through his hair, the sun shining behind him. Naruto Uzumaki, 7th Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. Tears filled his eyes. He remembered every moment. Iraka's kindness, Jiraiya's teachings, Tsunade's strength, and the laughter of his friends. He thought of Sasuke, the other half of his heart, and whispered softly, "We finally made it." But peace, as always, is never permanent. Years later, strange disturbances began again, space-time distortions, enemies from another dimension, and the return of the Hetsuki clan. Boruto and his friends were the new generation now, facing dangers of their own. Naruto watched over them, not just as Hokage, but as a father. He worried for them, guided them, and taught them the same lessons he had once learned. Never give up. Protect your friends. Believe in yourself. And though the world had changed, the legacy of Naruto and Sasuke continued. Two boys who had started as rivals, fought as enemies, and ended as brothers. But the bond between them was not over. Sasuke returned to the village one day, older, wiser, his eyes calm. He stood at the Hokage monument and looked at the faces carved in stone, especially Naruto. As Naruto walked up behind him, smiling, the sun rose over the Hidden Leaf Village, golden light spilling across rooftops, and the faces carved into the Hokage monument. Children ran through the streets, their laughter filling the morning air. Merchants opened shops, shinobi hurried to missions, and birds danced above the Hokage tower. Peace. Something Naruto Uzumaki had dreamed of since he was a boy now. It was real. Inside the tower, the 7th Hokage sat at his desk, buried under a mountain of paperwork. He sighed deeply, rubbing his forehead. "Man," he muttered, "I thought being Hokage would be about fighting villains and saving the world, not signing forms all day." Shikamaru, his advisor, smirked. "You wanted the hat, Naruto. Now you wear it." Naruto groaned. Yeah. Just then, the office door burst open. You're late again." Boruto Uzumaki stood there, hands on hips, pouting. Behind him, Himawari giggled softly. Naruto froze, panic in his eyes. "Wait, today's the academy ceremony." "Yup," Boruto said. And Mom's mad Naruto jumped up, grabbing his cloak. Not again. In a blur, the Hokage vanished through the window, leaving behind a flurry of papers and a laughing Shikamaru. The village was alive with joy that morning. Parents stood proudly, watching their children take their first steps toward becoming shinobi. Among them stood Naruto and Hinata, smiling as Boruto received his headband, the same symbol Naruto had once worn so proudly. As Boruto tied it around his forehead, Naruto felt a wave of nostalgia. He saw flashes of his own youth. Irika's smile, Sakura's punch, Sasuke's glare, Kakashi's calm eyes. How far he'd come. Hinata looked at him softly. "You're thinking about the past again, aren't you?" Naruto smiled. "Yeah, it feels like it was just yesterday." But as he looked at Boruto, he also saw something else, the future. A new story waiting to be written. Yet, peace does not mean stillness. It simply means the world has time to breathe between storms. In the shadows, new powers were stirring. The Heitsutsuki clan beings from another world, descendants of Kaguya, were still watching, and they had not forgotten the humans who defied them. When Momoshiki Heitsutsuki descended upon the Chunin exams, everything changed. The arena was full. Spectators cheered as Boruto fought skillfully, though he secretly used a scientific ninja tool, a shortcut that his father would never approve of. Naruto watched quietly, sensing something was off. Then, the sky darkened. A rip in the air tore open, and two figures stepped through. Momoshiki, their eyes gleamed with power beyond comprehension. Screams filled the arena. Buildings crumbled under their energy, and in an instant, the peace Naruto had built was threatened once more. Naruto stood, cloak flaring in the wind. "Everyone, get safety." He turned to Sasuke, who'd appeared like a shadow beside him. Their eyes met, old friends, ready for battle again. "Guess it's just like old times," Naruto said. Sasuke smirked. "Tried to keep up, Hokage." The battle was fierce and blinding. Explosions shattered the ground. Energy crackled through the air. Naruto and Sasuke fought side by side, Kurama's chakra swirling like fire, the Rinnegan warping space itself. Momoshiki was powerful. Too powerful. But the two friends were stronger together. They fought with perfect rhythm, one's attack flowing into the other's defense, hearts moving as one. At last, Momoshiki struck with a devastating blast aimed at Boruto. Naruto jumped in front, taking the full force of it. The world went white. Silence followed. Boruto screamed, "Dad!" Naruto was gone. In the chaos that followed, Sasuke guided Boruto. He placed a hand on the boy's shoulder and said softly, "You want to save him? Then come with me." Without hesitation, Boruto nodded. He was his father's son, reckless, brave, and full of heart. Together with Sasuke and the other Kage, Boruto traveled to another dimension to rescue Naruto. There, in a world of endless red skies, they found Momoshiki waiting. The battle that followed was one for the ages. Boruto fought beside his master and his father, the next generation standing with the last. In the end, Boruto struck the final blow. His Rasengan, small but pure, hit Momoshiki head-on, glowing with the same light that once belonged to Naruto. When it was over, Naruto smiled proudly. "You got my spirit, Boruto." Ei sighed softly. "But your own path too. Don't forget that." Life in the leaf returned to peace once more. Boruto grew stronger, training harder, learning from Sasuke. But inside him, a strange mark began to glow. A gift or a curse left behind by Momoshiki. Naruto watched closely, knowing that new challenges were coming. He saw in Boruto the same spark he once had, the same heart that refused to give up. No matter what, Hinata often reminded him, "He's your son, Naruto. He'll find his own way." And Naruto would smile, proud but worried, because he knew how dangerous the path of a ninja could be. Meanwhile, Sasuke traveled the world again, this time as a protector from the shadows. He watched for signs of danger, the remnants of the Heitsutsuki. Strange rifts in time, whispers of new power. But no matter how far he went, he always returned, even if only to stand quietly on the Hokage monument and look down at the village he once wanted to destroy. Sometimes Naruto would find him there. They didn't need to speak much. Their silence said everything. Two men who had walked through darkness, who had fought gods, who had changed the world. Now, They watched over it together. Years passed again. Naruto grew older, his hair shorter, his face calmer. The village grew more modern, filled with new inventions, screens, and trains. But one thing never changed: the heart of the hidden leaf. Children still dreamed of becoming heroes. Families still laughed in the streets, and the will of fire, that unbreakable bond between generations, continued to burn brightly. One evening, Naruto stood on the roof of the Hokage Tower, watching the sunset. The orange glow reminded him of his own chakra, his youth, his fire. He heard footsteps behind him. Sasuke stood there, coat fluttering in the wind. "You're getting old," Sasuke said with a half-smile. Naruto chuckled. "And you're still pretending you're cool." They stood together, watching the horizon. "Do you ever think about it?" Naruto asked quietly. "All the battles, all the people we lost." Sasuke nodded slowly. "Every day. But I also think about what we gained." Naruto smiled. "Yeah. We finally made peace. After everything." For a long moment, they said nothing, just stood there as the wind carried the sounds of laughter from the village below. Then Naruto looked at him. "Hey, Sasuke, thanks for believing in me, even when you didn't." Sasuke glanced at him. "You talk too much." Naruto laughed softly. "You haven't changed a bit." That night, Naruto walked home. Boruto and Himawari were asleep. Hinata waited by the window, smiling as he entered. He wrapped his arms around her, holding her close. "I used to dream about moments like this," he whispered. She smiled. "And now they're real." He nodded, eyes full of warmth. "For so long, I thought being Hokage was the goal. But now, I know. It's just a part of something bigger." Hinata looked at him curiously. "What's that?" Naruto looked out the window, at the glowing lights of the village. "Protecting everyone I love. That's the real dream." The story of Naruto and Sasuke had begun with loneliness. A boy who wanted to be noticed. A prodigy who lost everything. Two paths that should be stages apart, yet destiny tied them together. They fought. They cried. They changed each other. And in doing so, they changed the entire world. Now, that legacy lived on through Boruto, Sarada Mitsuki, and all those who came after. A new generation carrying the same fire, the same unbreakable will. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was alone. He dreamed of being Hokage, not for power, but so that everyone would finally see him. He stumbled, he suffered, he lost people he loved, but he never stopped believing. And because he never gave up, the world found peace.